Hey everybody, what's up? It is a chilly Sunday in Wisconsin today, and I just want to talk about something that's really important. What do you do in order to succeed in life? Primarily when it comes to relationships, and this can be anyone. I'm not going to say it's one particular person because I think we all deal with nonsense once in a while, but I think you got to cut the rope of anyone that's trying to keep a sister down. And I'll give you some examples of a few things I've been through in my life, and I'm not ashamed of anything because it's my story and I'm sticking to it. I was married for the first time back in, 1990-ish, per se. First husband, I took primarily care of the bills. He stayed in the military. I took an honorable, and I was home with our daughter, and so we'd write checks back then. It was eons ago. And so his job, because he took the car to work, was he was supposed to drop off the car payment at the bank. And lo and behold, I walked outside our apartment one day. I had my daughter in my arms, walked out to the parking lot, and our vehicle was gone. And I thought, what the heck happened? And so I called the police and I said, someone stole our car. And they said, we're going to check to see if it was repossessed. And I said, what do you mean repossessed? What does that even mean? And they said, if you haven't made the payments. I said, of course we made the payments. My husband takes payment into work, or has a payment and drops it off at the bank, and lo and behold, he didn't make the payments. They took our car. The payments were in the visor, 2 checks. And the payments weren't even that much at that point, maybe $150, and that was it. So, really? So anyways, we didn't get the car back because I said, well, we're in the military and we're going to be, he got orders and we're going to move back to Wisconsin. And they said, well, you can't have the car back because, and so it was a struggle. I had to go home. My dad had to give me a little bit of money to put a down payment on another vehicle back home, and got a minivan it was all right. But anyways, second husband, I married him. I knew going into it that he was kinder than my first husband, but he had agoraphobia and panic attacks. And I thought, well, that's something we can work through. And he couldn't drive more than 2 miles from where we lived. I chose him. I'm not going to blame him. So I would drive with him and work with him, get him to the doctor. And after 4 years of him, I call it backsliding, where he'd make excuses, and I had to release myself from that situation because I said, I'm not Jesus. I wasn't put on this earth to heal or save anyone. Then, having kids. I have to say, I got divorced and I made them a priority, and then I kind of walk around on eggshells, and I thought, well, they want kids today. They want to stifle you and control you and do things their way, make the rules in the house. And I thought, well, you know what? My oldest daughter left. Then she came back after a couple of years. And I was so afraid of her leaving again. She started to make the rules in the house. And I finally said, can we talk about something else? And then I was to blame for everything that had gone wrong in her life. And so sometimes you got to cut people off, cut them loose and set them free. And in all essence, you're freeing yourself. Why did I choose the people that I did regarding relationships? It's because that is what I equated my value and worth to at that time. I had been assaulted. I hadn't gone to therapy. I thought I was a piece of trash. And I married someone who treated me as such. So I'm not going to blame them for everything because I signed up for that. I was not in any kind of an arranged marriage. But you better think long and hard. So what do I always suggest to people? Therapy is imperative if you have experienced any kind of trauma. Because if not, you're going to carry that into your relationship, and you're going to carry that into how you parent your kids. And that's all there is to it. So with that, I will be back.